I will teach you how you can turn any book into an AI tutor using my script and Docling before this coffee pot is finished brewing. Let's get started. On my screen, you can see the ProGit book is open right here. And this book is in an epub format. But to run my script, you need to convert it into a PDF first. To do this, we'll use ebook convert, which is a terminal tool provided by Calibre, and I'm going to just provide this as an input and ProGit PDF as our output. So again, we need this PDF to run my Python script that uses Docling to turn this into something that the AI can understand. So we can ask any questions about the book and get an answer from the AI that's grounded in the actual contents of the book. So the PDF is already done. As you can see here, we have got a PDF. And now I'm simply going to run this book tutor Python script with the input parameter being that PDF file. Now what this script does is it initializes an embedding model because we have to create a new index for this book so that the AI can answer any questions about it. And this book is over 800 pages of technical documentation about Git. So if this book works, you can throw in basically any book and you can use it in the same way. Let's have a look at some of the code so I can actually show you what the code does. If we look at the code here on the left, you can see that we are using a Docling book loader. This basically uses the PDF pipeline from Docling, which is why we had to convert the epub into a PDF. And it enables a couple of options so it can actually understand some non-text content and some more complex content like tables, which is good to know, right? And this is the whole point of Docling. It doesn't just handle text, it can also handle more complex parts of your book. What we then do is we create a embedding model reference first of all. In this case, I'm using the all mini LM Hugging Face embedding model, but you can use any embedding model that you like. And then of course, what we end up doing is we first check if there is an existing index for the book. In this case, there is none. So what we do then is we first need to split up the document into chunks. So in this case, we're splitting up the entire book of more than 800 pages into smaller chunks so that the model can refer back to that later. And that's actually what it's doing right now, which is why it's saying processing book. And it seems like it's just thinking, right? Because it's taking a while for it to go through all of those 800 pages, which makes sense. Now, once it's done with this, it will actually store all of those chunks into a vector store. And I'm using a local vector store here. You can even replace this with any vector store you like. And once that's done, it will, of course, save all of those embeddings, because then whenever I run the script again in the future, it will just load in a couple seconds time and we can just continue our learning session. And then to actually invoke an AI model, I have a locally running model for which I'm using LM Studio. Here too, you can replace it with an actual call to OpenAI or any other AI model that you want. So this is really the reason why I created the script for you all, because it's very extensible, modifiable, and you can really make it work in whichever way you want, but it's a really good fundamental basis to get started. And then, of course, we have a system template, which kind of describes that this is just a helpful assistant answering questions about a given book. And of course, it will give all of the context that's relevant to the user's question, for which it uses the embedding search, just like any other retrieval augmented AI system. Looking on the right, while I was explaining this, it seems that we actually got the system to ingest the entire book. So just in time for my coffee, I would say. But before I get my coffee, let's go and test some questions. So I've restarted the script and now I'm going to ask a very interesting question. How does Git store files? But I'm going to end this by saying answer with a direct quote from the book. Let's see what it comes up with now. So here we go. We have a response. Git is a content addressable file system with some other details. But the important bit here is that the response is apparently a quote. But we can prove this, right? Let's actually copy this and go into the book to try and see where this code is coming from. I'm going to go ahead and simply search and then type in this quote. And there you go. We can actually see it's from page 271. And actually it's from this chapter called Git Internals in the section Git Objects. So super nice, right? It is actually a genuine quote. And what's more, because it's a quote, we of course also know that we can just go to this chapter as a whole and just read more details as we please. So not only can it answer questions about books, it's also kind of like a search engine, right? It will also point you to the right parts of the book that can explain a given context to you. And this way, you can really use the tool in many different ways. Again, I'm going to go ahead and catch my coffee, but try this out on any book you want and let me know how it goes.